Analyzing data.
Shade is a reoccurring creature that Juli Kidman will have several run-ins with during the events of the first two DLCs for the game, The Evil Within. The Shade is one of the more unsettling enemies in the game, with her long female legs leading to tattered blood-soaked white sheets that's attached to a glowing spotlight that appears to be her head. And while she's featured quite prominently in these two DLCs, we actually don't know much about her other than a short model description reading, Shade is tall, flexible, and suggestive. Another of Ruvik's pawns, she's the physical manifestation of his search for a new body. Like Kidman, she searches for Leslie, and her light has the ability to reveal memories and locations buried within the minds of people connected to STEM. This description is obviously quite vague as to why she's manifested in the way that she has, which has given rise to the idea that Shade is also a grotesque manifestation of the way that Ruvik views Kidman, considering that both of their roles in the game seem to be very similar, both searching for Leslie and both using the tools of a lighting fixture to uncover things inside of STEM. Shade is an interesting creature, because even though she may appear to be an imposing figure when the player encounters her, she's actually not very tough. She only appears that way because, as Kidman, the player is only afforded a gun sparingly. In truth, the Shade can be taken down in as little as 3 shots from Kidman's pistol, which makes her weaker than any other boss in the main game. Shade is also one of the few enemies that speaks quite regularly, having a few names that she likes to mutter out when she's around you. Those names being Leslie, the person that Ruvik created her to search for inside of STEM, Leslie, as well as Kidman, the name of the main character in the DLC, and perhaps also a suggestion that Kidman had something to do with how and why Ruvik created this creature in the way that he did. Kidman. Another phrase that we hear her say in the very beginning of the game is also the only real hint that we're given in the game as to what her actual goal is inside of the system, with her saying, "your body," while devouring the upper torso of an NPC.
Please. No.
No.
Other than these things, however, and the fact that she appears to be a fan of getting her groove on, we don't know much about Shade. She appears to be based on a character that Tango was workshopping for the base game called Lightman, an enemy that was to have a link with the lighthouse at Beacon. However, the two don't seem to have any connection outside of the shape of their heads. Whatever the influences, however, Shade is one of the most fear-inducing enemies that you'll find inside of the world of STEM. Her movements are unsettling, her unfeeling voice chilling, and her swift ability to tear you to shreds terrifying.
Please enjoy this music while